Ja, hallo ihr Lieben, hier der Adi von TranslatedPress. Ich grüße euch wie immer ganz herzlich aus der Ferne. Wir haben heute eine Spezialsendung für euch gemacht, live direkt aus Washington. Ich lebe in Kolumbien, das wisst ihr ja. Wir machen dann immer die Dreierachse von Westkolumbien, wo ich zu Hause bin, direkt in die Vereinigten Staaten, heute nach Washington. Und heute ist ja der Geburtstag des amerikanischen Präsidenten Donald Trump. Heute wird Donald Trump 79 Jahre alt. Und natürlich, was noch wichtiger ist, heute ist das 250. Jubiläum des Bestehens der US-Armee. Heute wird die US-Armee genau 250 Jahre alt und dafür gibt es eine ganz besondere Parade und die fängt gerade an, ich sehe es. Los geht's, meine Lieben. Ich habe gar nicht viel Zeit, euch sehr viele Worte hier zu übermitteln. Lasst uns einfach reinspringen in die Übertragung und wo eine Übersetzung wichtig ist, da mache ich sie. Los geht's, meine Lieben, und teilen, 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 bitte.
Forged in the fires of revolution, tested on today's front lines of freedom. Before there was a nation, there was the United States Army. From the hallowed ground of Yorktown's first stand to the unwavering readiness at Fort Bragg today, and onward to West Point's next generation of leaders. For 250 years, one force has stood ready, unshaken, unmatched, unbreakable. And today, the legacy rolls on. This is the United States Army's 250th Anniversary Parade.
Representing our joint forces, please welcome the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Dan Kane. Joining us, the Secretary of the Army. Please welcome the Honorable Daniel P. Driscoll. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Secretary of Defense, the Honorable Pete Hegseth.
Meine Damen und Herren, bitte heißen Sie den Verteidigungsminister der Vereinigten Staaten herzlich willkommen, Pete Hegseth. Meine Damen und Herren, der Vizepräsident der Vereinigten Staaten mit der zweiten Lady der Vereinigten Staaten und ihren 3 Kindern, J.D. Vance, und seine Ehefrau.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the President of the United States.
Meine Damen und Herren, bitte heißen Sie den Präsidenten der Vereinigten Staaten und die First Lady Melania Trump willkommen.
Ladies and gentlemen, to honor America, would you please rise for the singing of our national anthem?
Meine Damen und Herren, würden Sie bitte aufstehen und die Vereinigten Staaten ehren für die Nationalhymne der Vereinigten Staaten.
Before we even had a country, we had an army.
They started as a small, unorganized group of shop owners and farmers, but they fought the most powerful army in the entire world to a standstill in Concord, Lexington, and Bunker Hill.
Then our Continental Congress chose George Washington as general of our Continental Army.
But it wasn't until 1 year later, on July 4th, 1776, that news arrived of the signing of our Declaration of Independence.
Now we had a new army and a new nation.
With little gunpowder, no shoes, bloody feet, few cannons, little training, and even
Wenig Material, sie hatten kaum Training, die Force hat im Dezember gepackt, sie hatten einen fürchterlichen Winter, 2000 Amerikaner sind gestorben, sie sind durch die Hölle gegangen, aber sie haben niemals abgegeben. Diese erste American Armee nie aufgegeben. Washington ist in Yorktown angekommen und Wallace und seine mächtige britische Armee wurde in den Boden getrieben und für 6,5 Jahre haben sie sich in Yorktown zusammengetan. Sie haben trainiert, sie haben sich zusammengefasst. Sie sind von der karibischen Washington hat sich entschieden zu agieren. Er ist näher und näher an das Fort gekommen. Sie hatten jetzt zum ersten Mal Kanonen und sie haben die ersten Kanonen gefeuert. Das waren die sogenannten Abouts 9 und 10, die amerikanischen und die französischen Truppen haben sich zusammengetan, sie haben miteinander angegriffen und es war eine blutige Schlacht, um das Geringste zu sagen. Am nächsten Tag hat Wallace gesehen, dass er sich in Schwierigkeiten befunden hat. Es hat nicht funktioniert, die Briten waren gezwungen, sich zurückzuziehen. Wir hätten eigentlich verlieren müssen, aber unsere junge Armee hatte nach ihrer Freiheit gepocht. Sie wollten die Freiheit und das war der innere Ansporn, sie zu dem zu machen, was sie geworden sind. Heute ist vieles anders von der Armee von damals, aber eines ist immer noch dasselbe. Eine Passion, eine Leidenschaft für das Land ist immer noch tief in dem Herzen dieser Armee vorhanden. Wenn man ihre Gesichter ansieht, dann sieht man diese Leidenschaft und Gott möge die Vereinigten Staaten und die Armee der Vereinigten Staaten schützen.
Ladies and gentlemen, our parade is officially underway. Up first, internationally renowned as one of the world's finest professional music organizations, the United States Army Band, Pershing Zone. They are the premier music organization of the U.S. Army, our nation's most senior service. Stationed at Joint Base Meyer-Henderson Hall, Virginia, it plays an important musical role in events of national and international significance. They were founded back in 1922 by Army Chief of Staff John J. Pershing. They're led today by Colonel Bruce R. Pulver and Drum Major Rob Moore. Today, Pershing's Own is playing a melody entitled The Army Goes Rolling Along. This was actually written in 1908 by the then Lieutenant Edmund Louis Snitz Gruber, which was a descendant of Franz Gruber, who composed Silent Night. It was originally written to be the 5th Artillery Regimental song titled The Caissons Go Rolling Along, and in 1956 the lyrics were revised by Harold Arberg as the official song of the U.S. Army, and then retitled The Army Goes Rolling Along. Pershing's Own carries on its century-old legacy, playing a march that brings pride to every soldier, the Army Song. The 3rd Infantry Regiment is the oldest active duty unit in the U.S. Army. Established back in 1784, the unit was dubbed the Old Guard by Major General Winfield Scott during a victory parade in Mexico City after the Mexican War. It is the U.S. Army's official ceremonial unit and presidential escort, conducting year-round tactical training to ensure the highest standards and utmost discipline of its soldiers. The unit routinely represents the U.S. Army and our nation in official ceremonies, major sporting events, and their own, the U.S. Army's own Twilight Tattoo. The Old Guard also maintains 24-hour vigil of the tomb of the unknown soldier, while also conducting funeral services honoring our fallen heroes in Arlington National Cemetery. The regiment's 50 campaign streamer stand is a testament to its long, faithful service to our nation. Ladies and gentlemen, the 3rd Infantry Regiment, the Old Guard. In 1775, the shot heard round the world at Lexington and Concord sparked a revolution, uniting 13 colonies and forging a continental army from farmers and frontiersmen. Against the odds, they turned the tide at Trenton and Saratoga, survived Valley Forge, and at Yorktown forced a British surrender, securing independence and giving birth to the United States of America. Before radios and field phones, sound was the signal. In the Continental Army, fifes and drums carried commands across the chaos of battle, telling soldiers when to advance, when to retreat, eat, even when to rest. That legacy actually lives on today with the U.S. Army Fife and Drum Corps, part of the 3rd Infantry Regiment, known as the Old Guard. Founded back in 1960, they're the only unit of their kind in the armed forces. Performing in uniforms patterned after those worn by General Washington's musicians. Playing period instruments with patriotic precision, they bring history to life, sharing the sound and spirit of the Revolution through more than 500 performances each year, both at home and around the world, too. The Old Guard, Fife and Drum Corps, everybody.
Wir sehen jetzt hier den Mann auf dem Pferd, der soll George Washington darstellen. Alles ein Symbol. Das sind die Golden Knights hier, das Fallschirmjägerteam. Das ist das berühmteste Fallschirmjägerteam, das es gibt. Die waren auch bei sehr, sehr vielen Angriffen und Attacken dabei, weltweit sehr, sehr berühmt. Die Goldenen Ritter nennt man das auch. Golden Knights, die Goldenen Ritter. So, da sind jetzt welche abgesprungen hier. So, jetzt reden Sie vom Bürgerkrieg der Vereinigten Staaten 1861, Süden und Norden. Da ging es dann hauptsächlich um die Sklavenhalterung. Und das sind die sogenannten Buffalo Soldiers. Das waren die Schwarzen gewesen. Buffalo Soldiers. Bob Marley ist euch bekannt. Der hat einen sehr berühmten Song komponiert. Buffalo Soldiers. So, und das ist jetzt eine Erklärung über die Uniformen, wie die entstanden sind nach dem Bürgerkrieg. Hier sehen wir jetzt gerade, wie die Fallschirmjäger am Boden angekommen sind. Die kommen von Fort Carson, Colorado. Das ist die erste Kavalleriedivision aus Texas. Die sind im Bürgerkrieg entstanden. Sie waren auch in Vietnam gewesen, unter anderem, sagt er gerade. Die erste Kavalleriedivision, sogenannte First Team.
Special thanks to our sponsor, Lockheed Martin. In 1914, years of escalating competition between European alliances culminate in the outbreak of the First World War. The two sides engage in a savage war of attrition, defined by opposing...
Weltkrieg. Es gab jetzt zum ersten Mal Giftgas. Es gab Stacheldraht. Die Vereinigten Staaten hat sich neutral verhalten. 1917 ist sie in den Ersten Weltkrieg eingetreten. Und zu der Zeit waren 2 Millionen amerikanische Soldaten am Krieg beteiligt. Über 90.000 haben das Leben verloren, 180.000 waren verwundet. Sie sind dann in den Krieg eingetreten. Das ist hier ein Auto aus dem Ersten Weltkrieg, 1916.
We continue on with more USA World War I rolling stock. This 1918 Dodge Touring Car.
So, das war ein Dodge von 1914. Es hatte kein GPS, es hatte keine Powersteuerung. Wo immer die Armee hingeht, da folgt ihr die Nation.
Headquartered in New York, this is the 42nd Infantry Division Band. At the start of World War I, the 42nd Infantry...
Das war die 42. Infanterieregiment von 1916, das nach Europa ging und dort im Krieg in Frankreich tätig war. Sie haben dort eingegriffen auf Seiten der Franzosen und der Engländer.
Commanded by Chief Warrant Officer 2 Ethan Wagner and led by Drum Major Sergeant First Class Drew Gans, the band is performing Over There, written in 1917 by Broadway composer and recipient of the Congressional Gold Medal George M. Cohan. Representing the World War I era is the 82nd Airborne Division, based out of...
Das 82. Fallschirmspringerregiment ist jetzt hier zu sehen in der Uniform des Ersten Weltkrieges. Das war der General Pershing, sehr berühmt, der zuständig war für dieses Regiment.
From above, not bulletproof, but battle tough. Nicknamed the Pershing boot, on their feet was the M918, 1918 French boot. It was designed to survive the brutal grind of
Schaut euch mal die Gamaschen an, und das sind keine Stiefel, sondern das sind Strümpfe, die bis oben hingingen zu den Bunthosen. Schon sehr merkwürdig. So war das damals. Das 42. Infanterieregiment, das Dachau befreit hat im Zweiten Weltkrieg, nach dem Zweiten Weltkrieg und auch in Afghanistan tätig war.
Thundering into view, the pride of Fort Sill, the U.S. Army Artillery Half Section.
Die Artillerie zu Pferde, die Artillerie. Hier sind 6 Reiter in einer historischen Uniform, auch vom Ersten Weltkrieg, mit einer Kanone aus dem Ersten Weltkrieg.
Special thanks to our sponsor, Form Energy. World War II, a global fight for freedom. In history's darkest hour, the United States Army was on the front lines. From the beaches of Normandy to the islands of the Pacific, the greatest generation faced down tyranny and turned the tide.
So, jetzt ist das Thema der Zweite Weltkrieg hier. Es sind Bomber aus dem Zweiten Weltkrieg. Also Transportflugzeuge, Bomber, Kampfflugzeuge.
Leading up front, the mighty B-25 Mitchell.
B-25, die
up next, the Cadillac of the Sky, the P-51 Mustang.
Eingesetzt wurden.
From the sky, we're back down on the ground. In World War II, one vehicle led the charge, the legendary quarter-ton 4x4 command recon vehicle, the Jeep. You might have a Jeep in your driveway, but not like this. The U.S. Army truck quarter-ton 4x4 command reconnaissance, better known as the Jeep, was an iconic vehicle of World War II and was the world's first mass-produced four-wheel drive vehicle. The Army used the Jeep for almost every military...
Die haben mir das erste Eis gegeben, die erste Coca-Cola im Leben, die ersten Kaugummis, haben uns Amerikaner aus solchen Jeeps als Kinder in Bayern, wo ich aufgewachsen bin, geschenkt. Und hier sind wir wieder das 82. Luftregiment aus Fort Bragg im militärischen Uniform aus dem Zweiten Weltkrieg. Fort Bragg.
Born Ceremonial Band.
So habe ich noch die Soldaten im Kopf mit dieser Uniform in den 50er Jahren.
In a global fight like World War II, the U.S. Army knew our troops needed more than courage. They needed innovation. Uniforms evolved for every environment, but olive drab remained the mark of the American soldier. Shaped by lessons from the trenches of World War I, the Army introduced two battlefield essentials: the M1 helmet, tough, stable, and built to protect under fire, and the M1 Garand rifle, powerful and
So, die hatten ein sogenanntes M1 Stahlhelm. War ein ganz anderer Stahlhelm wie die deutschen Stahlhelme. Andere Form.
Glider troops destroyed German supply lines after fighting for 33 days straight.
Abgesprungen und haben von dort aus den Kampf aufgenommen von Frankreich gegen die deutsche Soldaten.
The 101st Airborne Division, based out of Fort Campbell, Kentucky, traces its lineage back to 1918 when it first established as the 101st Division. Known for their ability to rapidly deploy across the world, the unit has held a crucial role in operations since its inception. From parachuting behind enemy lines on D-Day to leading helicopter assaults in Vietnam, the 101st redefined modern warfare. In the 50s, the Screaming Eagles stood tall at home, protecting the Little Rock Nine during the fight for civil rights. In recent decades, they've been sent across the world with stints as far as the Middle East, where they took part in Operation Desert Storm and participated extensively in the war on terrorism in Iraq and Afghanistan. The Screaming Eagles continue to lead the way as tomorrow's division in today's Army. The iconic Sherman tank is here, ladies and gentlemen. It was the cornerstone of the U.S. Armed Forces, showing its military might.
Der sogenannte Sherman Tank, das war der berühmteste amerikanische Panzer im Zweiten Weltkrieg. Es gab 50.000 von diesen Panzern. Sherman. Bis 1957 wurde dieser Panzer in der amerikanischen Armee verwendet.
Devastating.
Dieses
It served through Korea,
Kettenfahrzeug
Vietnam,
war
and beyond, and remains in use in U.S. allies to
ein
this day.
Fahrzeug, das
The
sogar in
M16
Korea
Amtrak brings
eingesetzt
the
wurde,
fight
später
wherever it
in Vietnam.
rolls. The U.S. Army Transportation Corps motto states, "Nothing happens until something moves." That was never more true than with this. Look at this.
Das ist ein Transportkommando. Das war ein Chevrolet. Das war ein Supply-Fahrzeug, also ein Fahrzeug, das Nachschub gebracht hat. Ich kann mich gut an diese Fahrzeuge erinnern aus den amerikanischen Manövern, die bei uns in der Umgebung von Würzburg stattgefunden haben in den frühen 50er Jahren.
The Korean War, often referred to as the Forgotten War, began on June 25, 1950, with the North Korean Army's invasion.
Die nordkoreanische Armee hat Südkorea angegriffen. Die Amerikaner haben damals, ich glaube es war 1953, Soldaten dorthin geschickt. 1951 hat das begonnen, höre ich gerade. In 1953 war der Krieg zu Ende. Die Vereinigten Staaten haben 6,1 Millionen Soldaten dorthin geschickt innerhalb dieser 3 Jahre. Muss man sich mal vorstellen.
Special thanks to our sponsor, Coinbase. The M151 kept rolling along as the lightweight, high-mobility general-purpose vehicle replaced.
So, das war der neue Jeep aus 1961, den wir jetzt sehen, der sogenannte Watt. Eine andere Version des Jeeps, der ist 40 Jahre lang in der amerikanischen Armee immer noch praktisch angewendet worden.
Particularly during the Vietnam War and Operation Iraqi Freedom, the Deuce and a Half proved its value moving cargo, supplies, and soldiers. Its capabilities include up to 5,000 pounds off-road.
5.000 Pfund. Das war ein Versorgungsfahrzeug, das wir jetzt sehen. In den Dschungeln von Vietnam haben die Amerikaner eine neue Art von Krieg entdeckt. Das war eines der schwierigsten Umgebungen, in der die amerikanische Armee je gekämpft hat.
And over the music marching through, the roar of these legendary Army helicopters takes to the air. Flying overhead right now, they help define the Vietnam War.
Diese Hubschrauber waren oft die Rettung für viele Soldaten, die hinter der Frontlinie waren, die gerettet werden mussten, zum Teil verletzt. O-86 Kaios und Cobra-Helikopter waren sehr bekannt. Sie haben die Soldaten beschützt und die ersten Turbinen, Cargotransporter, Medic, also die Hubschrauber, die die Verwundeten geborgen haben. Kavallerie-Division, das ist eine Teamband, die seit dem Ersten Weltkrieg besteht, die alle Kriege mitgemacht hat, aber auch immer wieder die Band bis heute aufrechterhalten hat.
Cavazo, Texas, everybody, the 1st Cavalry Division Band.
Erste Kavallerie-Divisionsband von Texas.
The U.S. Army deployed large numbers of troops in support of the Vietnam War. The first contingent of U.S. Army advisors arrived in Vietnam in the late 1950s, and that quickly grew to a small team of around 100 soldiers, which then expanded to more than 600 over the next decade. As the war intensified, troops' numbers quickly grew as the war between the South Vietnamese government and the communist insurgents supported by North Vietnam intensified. By January 1969, more than 364,200 soldiers organized around 7 divisions and 20 separate combat brigades. The United States began withdrawing its forces in July of 1969.
Im Juli
The last Army combat unit left
1996
South
haben
Vietnam.
sich die Amerikaner zurückgezogen aus Vietnam. Ich kann mich gut erinnern, ich war in den USA zu der Zeit, ich habe dort gelebt. Und sie sind dann herausgezogen im April 1975.
Our nation during this time.
Diese
Blistering heat, thick
Gruppe
humidity, and
hier
unforgiving
ist
terrain
in der Uniform
demanded uniform
angezogen, die
innovation.
in
And the Army,
Vietnam
they delivered.
damals.
New lightweight uniforms were constructed to move with
Das
the
waren
soldier.
besondere
The M16
Uniformen, die
replaced the
besonders
M1
leicht
Garand,
waren,
for redesigned
damit sie
ammo gear
den
and faster
Truppen
reloads in
sich
combat.
zusätzliches
Body
Gewicht
armor got smarter, jackets and trousers
und
got
vor
lighter,
allen
and field
Dingen
equipment was reimagined to meet the mission head on.
Wärme,
Gone were
Hitze
the heavy Mickey
erzeugt
Mouse
haben,
boots
denn
replaced by
Vietnam ist ja
canvas tropical
tropisch.
combat boots that offered better grip,
Also
faster
das war eine
drying, and
Tropenuniform,
all-day
die besonders
endurance.
leicht war. Eine Truppenuniform, die besonders leicht gewesen ist, speziell für Vietnam. So, jetzt hier kommen wir zum Golfkrieg mit Irak, Saddam Hussein. Und die Amerikaner haben damals Soldaten in den Golf geschickt, nach Saudi-Arabien. 50.000 Mann sind dort eingetroffen. Und dann gab es eine sogenannte Koalition der Willigen. 30 Länder haben ihre Soldaten dorthin geschickt und die Operation Desert Storm, das war damals in Irak, kann ich mich gut erinnern. Ich war zu der Zeit in Kalifornien. Kuwait wurde vom Irak befreit und der Irak hat sich ergeben. Der Rest ist Geschichte, wir können uns gut daran erinnern. Fort Wiley, Kansas, 1. Infanteriedivision, die großen roten, the Big Red One. Das ist eine sehr, sehr berühmte Division, die sich im Ersten Weltkrieg, im Zweiten Weltkrieg, in Vietnam, in Korea, überall ausgezeichnet hat. 1. Infanteriedivision, 1917 ins Leben gerufen. Sie war 1916 in Frankreich dabei. Im Zweiten Weltkrieg waren sie in Omaha Beach in der Normandie. Sie waren dabei, die Ersten zu sein, die in Deutschland eingetroffen sind, Deutschland gekämpft und besetzt hielten. Das sogenannte Big Red One, die 1. Infanteriedivision, eine legendäre Division, sehr bekannt, sehr berühmt.
The Paladin looks and sounds like a tank. It is technically a self-propelled howitzer that was first introduced back in the 1960s. Over the years, it's been upgraded to perform in versatile battlefields from Vietnam to the Soviet Union to Iraq.
Fahrzeug, es ist im Irak eingesetzt worden. Und für uns ist das natürlich ein Panzer.
In the Gulf War, no division hit harder or moved faster than the 1st Armored. The 1st Armored Division, nicknamed Old Ironsides, is the oldest, most recognizable armored division in the United States Army. As part of the buildup for World War II, cavalry and reconnaissance units were brought together to form the 1st Armored Division in 1940. In the Gulf War, no division hit harder or moved faster than the 1st Armored. Old Ironsides really led the way. During Desert...
Also, diese Gruppe heißt die alten Haudenken. Sie waren während Desert Storm im Irak tätig. Sie haben die Panzerdivisionen unterstützt und sie waren in 5 verschiedenen Kontinenten tätig. Und es gibt sie immer noch und sie sind immer bereit.
First used in Operation Desert Shield and Desert Storm, the M119 howitzer brought precision firepower to the front lines. Lighter and more mobile than larger artillery, it was built for the infantry brigade, able to fire high into the air or directly.
So, hier haben wir ein Unterstützungsfahrzeug, das die Infanterie unterstützt hat. Infanterie. Hat zur Artillerie der Armee gehört. Was wir hier sehen, ist keine Machtdemonstration. Es ist auch nicht diese Art von Militärparade, die wir aus Russland kennen oder China oder anderen Ländern. Es ist eine historische Parade, die nichts mit Macht zu tun hat, sondern mit Geschichte. Mit 250 Jahre langer Geschichte. Das ist der Unterschied. Wenn ihr das jetzt vergleicht mit Putins Paraden oder mit den chinesischen Paraden, dann ist das nicht so ganz richtig, denn die Amerikaner zeigen hier die Geschichte, die 250 Jahre ihrer Armee und die verschiedenen Epochen, in denen verschiedene Waffen, Uniformen und Ähnliches benutzt wurde. Darum geht's.
On September 11, 2001, terrorists destroyed the World Trade Center in New York City and struck the Pentagon in Washington.
So, am 11. September 2002 wurde die Vereinigten Staaten herausgefordert. Und wir können uns gut erinnern, das World Trade Center war zerstört. Und da wurde diese Truppe zusammengestellt, eine Truppe, die sich den globalen Krieg und Terror auf der Welt gewidmet hatte. Das ist eine Spezialeinheit, die auf die ganze Welt hinaus geschickt wird, wenn Amerika aus irgendeinem Grund dort Spezialeinheiten braucht.
One 1% of the American population deployed in support of the global war on terrorism. Most of those who served were members of the United States Army.
Der globale Krieg gegen den Terror.
The global war on terrorism saw the introduction of a range of new technologies on the battlefield. The 8-wheeled Stryker armored combat vehicle is the first new military vehicle to enter service in the U.S. Army since the Abrams tank back in the 1980s. The vehicle was developed to fill a gap in the Army's inventory between a lighter infantry and heavy armored unit. The Stryker armored combat vehicle enables the team to maneuver in close and urban terrain, plus provide protection in open terrain and transport infantry quickly to critical battlefield positions. The first Stryker vehicles were fielded back in 2002 with the first Stryker Brigade combat team deploying to Iraq in 2003.
Das ist die First Stryker Brigade, die in Irak zum Einsatz kam, mit ihren dementsprechenden Fahrzeugen, die auch aus dem 21. Jahrhundert sind.
U.S. Army Rangers, predating the Revolutionary War, fought in the War of 1812 as part of the regular Army and patrolled the frontier from Ohio to western Illinois on horseback and by boat, with the likes of Daniel Boone and Abraham Lincoln in their ranks. After the 9/11 terrorist attacks, Rangers were called upon to lead the way in the global war on terrorism. As part of the U.S. Army Special Operations Command, the 75th Ranger Regiment.
So, hier haben wir die Rangers. Eine Spezialeinheit, die spezielle Operationen machen, und die grünen Berets, Green Berets.
Is an elite group of individuals trained to lead and succeed.
Eine Elitegruppe, die sehr berühmt ist.
With unique specialties, Special Operations works in small tactical teams, taking on the most challenging and sensitive missions. Military legends to service members and civilians alike, they take on terrorists through quiet guerrilla war-style missions in foreign countries. Ladies and gentlemen, the U.S. Army's Special Forces.
So, die sogenannten Special Forces, Spezialeinheit, auch bekannt als Green Berets.
The Stryker Brigade combat team combines the capacity for rapid deployment with survivability and tactical mobility. Adaptability and continuous transformation to overcome our enemies is vital. Advantage that our adversaries can never hope to match. Over 80 nations have fought alongside the United States or assisted in during the global war on terrorism. The 10th Mountain Division's climb to glory began with its establishment as the 10th Light Division in July 1943, the only one of its size in the U.S. military to receive specialized training for fighting in mountainous conditions. After periods spent inactive as a training division and as a standard infantry division, the unit returned to its roots in 1985 when it regained its Mountain Division designation. In the 1990s, the division participated in numerous humanitarian and peacekeeping operations. During the War on Terrorism, the 10th Mountain Division proved their mettle as light fighters through repeated deployments to Afghanistan and Iraq. Now, since 2002, the 10th Mountain Division, based out of Fort Drum, New York, has been the most deployed regular Army unit. Its combat brigades have seen over 20 deployments to both Iraq and Afghanistan in support of Operation Iraqi Freedom and Operation Enduring Freedom. To show America's military might, they have one purpose: to deter war and, if ordered, defeat the enemies of the United States of America. They are the 10th Mountain Division.
Das ist eine Art Gebirgsjäger, also die sogenannten Mountain Division, die überall eingesetzt werden.
He has 8 Stryker Brigade combat teams, 6 in the active component and 2 in the National Guard. More than 2/3 of the 7,000 servicemen and women who sacrificed their lives fighting the global war on terrorism were part of one of the Army's 3 branches: active duty forces, the Army Reserve, and the Army National Guard. The Army is continuously transforming to deter aggression to ensure our adversaries cannot outrange or outpace us. This transformation is not just about adapting, it's about maintaining dominance, ensuring that America's Army remains unmatched in its speed, flexibility, and ability to support the nation's strategic priorities. Special thanks to sponsor Palantir. Today, the U.S. Army's mission is to deploy, fight, and win our nation's wars. How? By securing ready, prompt, and sustained land dominance by Army forces across the full spectrum of the conflict as part of the joint force. Keeping the Army forces battle-ready and nimble makes transportation for the U.S. Army a very vital element. Spread across the parade today, numerous fighting vehicles, some designed for very specific functions and others for flexibility, but they all must be maintained. With over 200,000 trucks alone, wheeled vehicle mechanisms ensure that the fleet of vehicles are ready, and these mechanics get the job done. This convoy starts with the M777, a lightweight howitzer. These lightweight howitzers may not look particularly lightweight, but are made from titanium. They are 7,000 pounds lighter than their predecessor, the old M198. Used by the Army since 2005, the M777 is currently being used in Ukraine. Weighing only 4,700 pounds, the M119 howitzer is smaller and is used by infantry brigades, particularly for air assault missions. It was first used in Operation Desert Shield and Desert Storm in 1991 and is also seeing active use in Ukraine. The 7th Infantry Division, stationed at Joint Base Lewis McChord, has been seeing continuous combat action ever since activation in World War I. From Europe to the Aleutian Islands, Japan, Korea, Afghanistan, and the Pacific, the Bayonet Division boasts a proud history of answering the call of its motto, "Trust in Me," with resolute dedication. Sent to deployments and conflicts around the globe since it was founded, the division returned to Fort Lewis in 1971, its first time on American soil since 1934. The 7th Division, originally called the Hourglass Division due to their patch design, gained the nickname Bayonet Division during their deployment to Korea in June of 1950. At Incheon Landing and during the liberation of Seoul, they were credited with plunging the bayonet into the heart of the enemy, with 13 members of the division receiving the Medal of Honor. The 7th enables and sustains the combat readiness of 2 Stryker Brigade combat teams and a combat aviation brigade. With the American soldier, the cornerstone of everything the Army does, we are continuously transforming. Army careers span the spectrum from attorneys to astronauts and mechanics to engineers. The Army's greatest asset is our people, the finest men and women our great nation has to offer, with a myriad of talents that make us stronger. Aside from its people, the Army's next greatest asset is its technology and equipment. Coming up next, these vehicles offer a glimpse of what the Army employs for readiness and battle. The portable howitzers and the portable Abrams tank were used extensively in the Gulf War, along with Bradley tanks and the infantry squad vehicle. The ISV provides enhanced tactical mobility of an infantry brigade combat team. This allows commanders greater freedom of movement and action. The ISV provides the warfighter with increased flexibility to ensure infantry units maintain momentum to achieve mission success. When duty calls, U.S. Army soldiers don't just answer, they lead. From Fort Bragg, witness a powerful demonstration of strength, purpose, and the unmatched capability of today's Army.
The Army has made me see my potential, and I feel like it's molded me into a better person.
I grew up in a very patriotic household. My grandfather, he served in World War II, and his brother, my uncle, served in Vietnam. I can do this. If they can do this, I can do this.
When I was born, my dad was still serving in the military, and him coming home in his uniform, I'm like, yeah, I want to do that.
Clear for takeoff.
My motivation, I think it follows in line. I think with what my family's done is kind of a sense of duty to serve our country and give back since it's given us so much.
I'm a very, let's say, timid person, but definitely helped me become a more confident person.
Working with a group of my peers, it really shows how much working with a team can strengthen you.
All right, ready to go? Ready to go? I derive a lot of purpose from serving others. I think serving something bigger than myself gets me out of bed every day. If you follow it up, keep up.
I definitely pushed myself further than I ever thought I could go.
I joined the military service because I want to deploy. That's my main goal, is deploy, deploy, deploy.
If we get the call, we have to go somewhere, we'll do what needs to be done. That's just the way we operate here.
This is one of the few jobs in the nation where we all take an oath to say, I'm willing to put my life on the line for you, and they're willing to put their life on the line for me.
This is what we train for. This is what I want to do. My team leaders and squad leaders, they know exactly what to do. Check equipment, check weapons, check ammo.
We're always ready to deploy within 18 hours and handle the mission at task. We jump so frequently so that our jump masters and paratroopers are ready to deploy.
I'm very passionate about being a jump master. The paratroopers, they see you and, you know, they believe in you. I love to instill that confidence with my passion into those paratroopers. It's a rush. It's great.
Drop them first for personnel drop.
This week we honor 250 years of valor and glory and triumph by the greatest fighting force ever to walk the face of the earth, the United States Army. For 2.5 centuries, our soldiers have marched into the raging fires of battle and obliterated America's enemies.
I love the Army. It is a great place to set yourself up for success, to prepare yourself for the future.
God bless you, God bless our soldiers, and God bless the U.S. Army.
Joint Base Elmendorf, Richardson, Alaska is the home to America's Arctic Angels, who execute expeditionary operations worldwide, conduct multi-domain operations in the Indo-Pacific theater and the Arctic, and on order decisively defeat any adversary in extreme cold weather, mountainous and high-latitude environments through large-scale combat operations. The Angels are the Army's only Arctic division. Masters of Arctic warfare, the 11th serves worldwide in all climates. Established in November of 1942, the Angels of the 11th Airborne Division led the way in the Philippines during World War II and spearheaded an amphibious invasion of Luzon and distinguished themselves during the liberation of Manila. After periods spent inactive and stationed in Germany from 1963 to 65, the division operated as the 11th Air Assault Division with the mission of testing and refining the Army's helicopter-centric air mobility doctrine. Activated once again in June of 2022, they remain dedicated to defending America's interests throughout the Arctic, in Alaska, and beyond. The 11th Airborne Division, America's Arctic Angels. Requiring ongoing maintenance in the field and on base because nothing happens until something moves, wheeled vehicle mechanics supervise and perform maintenance, repair, and recovery operations on vehicles that serve the Army in a variety of mission-critical roles. Included in the array of mobile artillery such as Paladins and the Abrams tank is the Joint Light Tactical Vehicle known as the JLTV. It's highly adaptable, providing protected and sustained mobility for personnel and payloads. The JLTV is known for its off-road capability while providing armor against small arms and improvised explosive devices. The JLTV right there. The U.S. Army Reserve is inseparably linked to America's long-standing citizen soldier tradition. Organizationally, the Reserve's roots lie in the Medical Reserve Corps, established back in 1908 to provide a ready reserve of medical manpower. This organization was folded into the new offices of the Officers Reserve Corps in 1917. Reserve organizations furnished crucial manpower to the Army during World War I and were merged into 1920 into the Organization of Organized Reserve. During World War II, the Army activated 26 Organized Reserve infantry divisions, and roughly a quarter of the Army's officer corps came from the reserves during the conflict. During the Korean War, the Organized Reserve Corps was reorganized and redesignated the U.S. Army Reserve. The Army Reserve has since served as a vital source of manpower for the force during times of need, gradually transitioning from a strategic force to an operational force in response to the pressures of the war on terrorism. In the 170,000 Army Reserve soldiers and 11,000 civilians serving their home communities, and when needed, they can quickly mobilize. The Army can't deploy, they can't fight or win without the Army Reserve. They are an important component of Army readiness. Let's have a big hand for the Army Reserve. Today and tomorrow's Army looks to increase safety and survivability, create efficiency, and streamline processes. The Stryker is a great example of assessing evolving needs and developing the solution. Strykers provide a balance between heavy armor and infantry brigade and combat teams. When Americans hear the name Bastogne, they remember one of World War II's most heroic defenses, the Battle of the Bulge. Surrounded by German forces in the frozen forests of Belgium in December 1944, soldiers of the 101st Airborne held the line. before you is a platoon from the multi-purpose company 2nd Battalion, 327th Infantry Regiment, 1st Mobile Brigade, 101st Airborne Division, Bastogne. They are showcasing the Army's Transformation in Contact Initiative, a program that allows the Army to rapidly test, evaluate, and equip our soldiers with the newest technologies. Modern, mobile, and mission-ready, the Bastogne Brigade.
So, jetzt kommen die modernsten Ausrüstungen. Vor allen Dingen Drohnen, Schnellfeuergewehre, sehr viel Elektronik. Das sind Spezialeinheiten und die Autos sind natürlich auch was ganz Besonderes. Alles allermodernste Technologie.
Loads under its own power through restrictive terrain. This platoon is equipped with 3 types of small unmanned aerial systems. They are the Ghost X, located on the SMET, the C-100, and right above us there, the X-10D, which are flying above the formation right now. The Bradley fighting vehicle has proved itself to be lethal and survivable in multiple theaters since it first fielded back in the 1980s. Designed as a troop transport tank killer and to match speed with an Abrams tank, the Bradley is a fierce fighting machine. The Bradley accompanies American troops.
So, das ist der famose Bradley. Viele sagen Kettenfahrzeug, einige sagen sogar Panzer. Ich bin kein Experte, ich weiß jetzt nicht genau, wie ich dieses Fahrzeug bezeichnen soll. Ich habe leider erst vor kurzem etwas gelesen, dass der im Schlamm sehr oft stecken bleibt. Ich weiß nicht, ob ihr das jetzt schon beobachtet habt, aber Donald Trump sieht heute sehr müde aus. Die kurzen Einblendungen, die wir gesehen haben, auf ihn direkt, machen einen etwas müden Eindruck heute. Noch einmal, Trump hat heute Geburtstag, 79. Geburtstag. Heute hat er die First Lady mitgebracht, die ist schon lange nicht mehr gesehen worden. Seit Monaten war sie nicht bei offiziellen Auftritten. Sehr viel Sicherheit, sehr großer Aufwand an Sicherheit, vor allen Dingen seit wir ja wissen, dass Israel den Iran angegriffen hat.
With 30mm cannon fire. The aircraft you see here is configured with a sophisticated targeting radar system and can operate in poor visibility and in the black of night. With more than 1,280 aircraft in operation accumulating over 5 million flight hours, 1.3 million of which have been in combat, the AH-64 Apache represents the backbone of the U.S. Army's attack helicopter.
Das ist der berühmte Apache-Helikopter, der Apache-Hubschrauber, modernste Version, mit schwerem Geschütz ausgestattet. Kampfhubschrauber.
Special thanks to our sponsor, Lockheed Martin. Now, let's roll on to the future of Army readiness. The Army Research Laboratory robot dogs reflect the latest in Army innovation. Look at this. Much like a true...
Roboterhunde, stellt euch das mal vor. Roboterhunde.
And enhanced teamwork. Replacing soldiers, robot dogs can explore terrain that may be difficult for soldiers to traverse, dispose of explosive ordnance, and act in defensive posture or aggressive capacity when armed. The Ghost Robot Dog is another innovation that can adapt seamlessly for various missions from recon to bomb recognition. These dogs reduce risk and support soldiers completely in high-stakes missions. They have a standard walk speed of 2 miles per hour and are working towards 6.7 miles per hour sprint. As the oldest continuously serving Army band and the oldest unit at West Point, this is the United States Military Academy Band, ladies and gentlemen. West Point Band traces its history to a single drummer and fifer appointed by George Washington during the American Revolution. Over the next 2 centuries, this band evolved into one of the most capable and versatile performing groups in the world. One of the most prestigious institutions in the world where leadership is forged and duty becomes destiny. This is West Point, where Army leaders are made. With the motto of duty, honor, and country, West Point trains the best and brightest to serve their country as Army officers. Founded back in 1802 by President Thomas Jefferson, West Point is the home of the Long Gray Line, a legacy of courage and excellence that includes 77 Medal of Honor recipients, 2 U.S. presidents, Grant and Eisenhower, and numerous generals, including John J. Pershing, Douglas MacArthur, and Norman Schwarzkopf. Upon entering the United States Army, all recruits undergo initial entry training, a highly intense and a challenging training period aimed at developing a soldier's physical and mental toughness, instill discipline, train them in essential combat skills, and foster teamwork. IET transforms civilians into soldiers based on the 7 core Army values: loyalty, duty, respect, selfless service, honor, integrity, and personal courage. The Virginia Military Institute, on a mission to produce citizen soldiers, men and women educated for civilian life, prepared to serve their country in the armed forces. VMI counts a Nobel Prize winner, 11 Rhodes Scholars, generals, 7 Medal of Honor recipients, and a Pulitzer Prize winner among its graduates. As one of the nation's senior military colleges, students at Virginia Military Institute can participate in Army ROTC or the Corps of Cadets. While cadets in the Corps can serve in any branch of the United States military or pursue other careers, those in Army ROTC earn their commission as officers, ready to serve on active duty in the National Guard or Army Reserve. Each year, the Army Senior ROTC Blue Ridge Battalion commissions approximately 130 second lieutenants, ensuring that excellence in leadership continues in generations to come. The Citadel, the Military College of South Carolina, offers students the opportunity to participate in Army ROTC or the Historic Corps of Cadets. Founded in 1842, the Citadel is the 3rd oldest of the senior military colleges and is known for its Corps of Cadets living and studying under a classical military system that makes leadership and character development essential. While military service is not required in graduation, more than 120 students earn their commission each year through the Army Senior ROTC Palmetto Battalion, playing a vital role in shaping the future. As one of the nation's senior military colleges, Texas A&M University is home to both Army ROTC and the renowned Corps of Cadets. The Corps of Cadets' central purposes has remained building individuals that exemplify respect, excellence, leadership, loyalty, integrity, and selfless service. Students at the university who participate in the Army ROTC earn their commission as officers ready to serve on active duty in the National Guard or Army Reserve. Each year, the Army Senior ROTC Warrior Training Battalion at Texas A&M proudly commissions more than 90 second lieutenants and is honored to shape the future leaders of the U.S. Army. In a powerful display of commitment, these future soldiers will raise their right hand and take an oath of enlistment, pledging to serve our nation. This joint formation is proudly led by the Joint Task Force, National Capital Region, and the Military District of Washington Retention Team. Shaping tomorrow's Army, West Point's most inspiring cadets remind us that America's future is courageous and in capable hands.
The pride to serve my country knows that I'm doing it not for myself. Every day I put on the uniform, I'm not just representing Caroline Robinson. I'm representing my company here at the Academy. I'm representing West Point. I'm representing the United States Army, and ultimately, I'm representing the United States of America.
I really came to West Point because belief in the American dream and giving back to our country.
You're a part of something that is much bigger than yourself. You're a part of a tradition of excellence and a legacy that's connected not only to the Academy, but to the American Army.
I'm surrounded by people who want to make themselves better and serve our country.
Excellence is their baseline, and that to me is what it means to be a West Point cadet.
From the earliest days of our nation, this supreme tradition of American military service has been passed down from soldier to soldier and generation to generation, and it's a beautiful thing to watch.
My brother preceded me here, and originally I didn't really know what West Point was until he came. But when I saw the mission that they were committed to, of upholding the principles of American democracy and protecting the Constitution, I knew it was somewhere I had to be.
Every time that we lived outside of the United States, I always developed this sense of gratitude and pride of being an American, and I wanted to give back to my country what it gave to me.
And it wasn't until I zipped up the blouse and I put the belt on for the first time that I realized that I was going to be serving my country, and it felt right. West Point was the place that I needed to be, and more importantly, the Army was where I wanted to be.
I just looked to the left and right over basic training and realized that we all had the same American patch on our shoulders, that we're all fighting for the same thing. I mean, there was no better feeling in the world knowing that every single person around you is committed and willing to die for that mission.
You came for excellence, you came for duty, you came to serve your country, and you came to show yourselves that you are among the smartest, toughest, strongest, most lethal warriors ever to walk on this planet.
What excites me the most about my future in the Army is the opportunity that I'm going to have to give back to the American soldiers that I'm going to be leading.
Because ultimately, they don't get to choose. And to me, it's that burden of responsibility to be the best leader.
And as a young officer, that's going to be exactly what I get to do.
I was the cadet basic training first detail for the first 3 weeks. And I got to see the new cadets come in from their families' homes and being in process on their very first day and watching them grow so quickly.
I would do all the formations, and I looked out at these 1,000 new cadets, people who just come out of high school. They were completely different people.
I don't think there's another institution in the country like West Point where the student body is so committed to furthering the mission of America and ensuring our democracy and freedom for generations to come.
I'm really surrounded by the best of the best, and that's when I realized this is a place that I absolutely want to be.
West Point itself is an amazing institution, but it only provides opportunities. The people here have to choose to take those opportunities and grow and lead and serve. And the people here want to do that. And I'm proud to be a part of that. And I would tell any high schooler who is considering it, you won't regret it.
Left, pace. Mr. President, First Sergeant Norton reporting for duty, sir. Ready to commence the ceremony as directed.
I state your name.
I
Do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States of America against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, and that I will obey the orders of the President of the United States and the orders of the officers appointed over me according to regulations and the Uniform Code of Military Justice. So help me God. Congratulations, congratulations. Welcome to the United States Army and have a great life. Thank you very much. Have a great life. Thank you.
Ranger School is the best life insurance policy for our Army. It will always end with two people facing off with each other, and we need young leaders to be able to close with and destroy the enemy and defend our nation's interests forward.
Surrender is not a Ranger word. It's not an option. I know that I'm not going to be able to get to do this again. This is my chance.
It all starts at the legendary Ranger School, the crucible where these elite warriors are forged. It has been described as the longest approved gut check in the Army. Over 62 days, students will patrol hundreds of miles over mountains and through swamps under the crushing weight of their equipment. All the while, they are deprived of both food and sleep, forced to perform at the very edge of their physical limits. But it's not just the physical challenges that make Ranger School so intense. The mental strain will break these soldiers down to their core.
If I have a come-to-God moment, I have to take my PC off my patrol cap. And on the inside of that, my commander gave me a Ranger tab, the yellow and black one that you get during graduation. And I pinned it to the inside of my PC.
Ranger School is not for the faint of heart, but for those who are up to the challenge, it is the ultimate proving ground.
They already didn't have enough beds for people in our company. And our eyes reminded us that we don't have enough beds because there's not going to be this many people by tomorrow. Just a slight reminder that there's too many of you anyways, and not all of you are going to pass.
Rangers, if you don't figure it out, you're about to get another casualty.
It's completely different than what people would think Ranger School is like, but you can't put that into words, so it's hard to tell somebody something that you have to experience for yourself.
They got a saying, it's called as the tab turns. So Ranger School is continuing to change and to develop, but at the end of the day, it is the same. Right? They're always going to put you in scenarios that is going to test with your ability to actually make decisions on the ground.
As you go through Ranger School, it is a gut check. It's going to check you out. And what's going to get you through it is whether you have it or not. Thousands and thousands of soldiers train all their lives to come here, prepare themselves to come to Ranger School, and only a few hundred.
Ja, wir sind hier eine Darbietung der Ranger-Ausbildung, die sogenannte Ranger-Schule, auch eine Spezialeinheit, die es seit langem gibt in der amerikanischen Armee. Es werden hier Dinge präsentiert, die eigentlich ziemlich überraschend sind und sich auch von der Parade abtrennen. So, jetzt wird Musik gemacht, so wie es aussieht. Das heißt, jetzt kommt eine Unterhaltung. Ich glaube, Donald Trump wird keine Rede halten, so wie es aussieht. Es ist, wie gesagt, eine Feier. Es ist eine Feier, die heute stattfindet. Es ist keine Militärparade im altertümlichen Sinn. Es ist ein Jubiläum, das heute gefeiert wird.
Laying on old memories and talking about what it used to be. She'd probably be the death of me, but damn if it ain't sweet. She's my pretty little poison, my heartache in the night with a kiss on her lips just like cyanide. Yeah, she came with a warning, but I that she wants me. Try my best not to fall where she falls into me. We all need some kind of fix. For me, she's the one I pick. Nothing else will do the trick. She's all I need. She's my pretty little poison, my heartache in the night with a kiss on her lips just like cyanide. Yeah, she came with a warning, but I didn't mind. I'll go out on that high every time. She's my pretty little poison, my pretty little poison. Some I guess it's alcohol. I don't want none of y'all. I just want you. No, I just want you. My pretty little poison, my heartache in the night with a kiss on her lips just like cyanide. Yeah, she came with a warning, but I I'm not gonna lie, y'all, I'm nervous, but I would just like to say thank you so much for having me here tonight. I am just so fortunate to be here in front of y'all, and thank you guys so much for what you guys do. And honestly, happy birthday, y'all. Happy birthday. next song was loved by y'all. So if you know the words, please sing along. This song's called Ride the Lightning, y'all. She did. One foot in the flames and the other trying to walk the line. Can't say I never saw it coming, I could see the warning signs. Mama always said I was born on the wild side. I guess Mama was right, 'cause when the clock strikes midnight, gonna ride the lightning, feel the thunder till the darkness pulls me under. Gonna fly on wings of fire, breathing good, Lord lifts me high. Singing, oh, when they call me on. Singing, oh, when they call me on. Gonna ride the lightning. I see you singing, my friend. There's a man in a black coat standing at a crossroads, with a pen in his hand and a long list of lost souls. They say he flips a coin, fools let the fools go. There's a man in a black coat standing at a crossroads. I hope he lets me pass by when I close my eyes. Gonna ride the lightning, feel the thunder till the darkness pulls me under. Gonna fly on wings of fire, breathing good, Lord lifts me high. Singing, oh, when they call me on. Singing, oh, when they call me on. Gonna ride the lightning, ride the lightning, ride the lightning. We got one more chorus, y'all. Gonna ride the lightning, feel the thunder till the darkness pulls me under. Gonna fly on wings of fire, breathing good, Lord lifts me high. Singing, oh, when they call me on. Singing, oh, when they call me on. Gonna ride the lightning. Gonna ride the lightning. Ladies and gentlemen, everybody here, everybody that has attended tonight, I just want to say thank you so much. And I'll leave y'all with this. I'm more insiders, y'all. Thanks for having me. It has been my honor, ladies and gentlemen. I really mean that. Thank you so much. Happy birthday to the Army. Happy birthday to our President Donald Trump. Amen, y'all. God bless America, baby!
we honor 250 years of valor and glory and triumph by the greatest fighting force ever to walk the face of the earth, the United States Army. Each of you on the field today is among the most talented members of your generation. You could have done anything you wanted. You could have gone anywhere. You could have gone to any school. Matt's incredible heroism helped ensure that not a single American soldier died in the Battle of Shock Valley. For 2.5 centuries, our soldiers have marched into the raging fires of battle and obliterated America's enemies. The dignity, daring, and devotion of the American military is unrivaled anywhere in history and any place in the world. Our soldiers do not rest until they win. Our citizens know that you're standing guard, killing terrorists, crushing our enemies, and keeping America safe. But you're also keeping it strong and proud and mighty and free. This week we remember that we only have a country because we first had an army. As President of the United States, let me express my undying gratitude for every soldier here today, for every veteran and their incredible families, and for every patriot who has worn the uniform. Our debt to you is infinite and everlasting. With the grace of God, America will always prevail.
Well, let me say to the thousands of Americans who traveled from distant towns and
Die Tausende von Amerikanern, die über die Staatsgrenzen gefahren sind, um hierher zu kommen, das ist euer nationales Kapitol, das ist eure Hauptstadt, seid herzlich willkommen. Heute Abend, während wir hier den 250. Jahrestag der amerikanischen Armee feiern, die älteste Armee der Welt. Ich möchte zu den Soldaten sagen, über das ganze Land hinaus einen Happy Birthday und einen schönen Geburtstag. Wir sind stolz auf euch, Soldaten. Ich möchte sagen, ihr repräsentiert eine ungebrochene Linie der Exzellenz. Und eines der Dinge, die der Präsident der Vereinigten Staaten gesagt hat, wir müssen immer für die Menschen, die die Uniform anziehen, sind es wert, dass wir ihnen Respekt entgegenbringen und wir müssen sie in Ehren halten. Zu unseren Soldaten, wir sind so stolz auf sie. Die Art, wie wir euch respektieren und anerkennen, geht niemals in einen Krieg, wenn es nicht unbedingt sein soll. Und zweitens, wenn wir euch darum bitten, in den Krieg zu ziehen, dann geben wir auch die modernste Ausrüstung, um den Feind zu schlagen. Ich weiß, dass es ziemlich gefährlich ist unter so viel Militär. Aber heute ist der Geburtstag der Armee und es ist der Geburtstag des Präsidenten. Happy Birthday, Herr Präsident. Aber ich sollte auch erwähnen, dass es heute mein Hochzeitstag ist und ich möchte einen speziellen Gruß an meine Frau jetzt übersenden zu unserem Hochzeitstag. Es ist mein Vergnügen, den 45. und 47. Kommandeur des Militärs Präsident Donald Trump hier vorzustellen.
thank you to Vice President Vance and thank you to our
Dankeschön, Vizepräsident Vance, unsere wunderbare First Lady und vor allem zu den mutigsten Kämpfern und Soldaten auf dieser Welt, der Armee der Vereinigten Staaten von Amerika. Vielen Dank. Die Armee hat uns in Freiheit gehalten, sie macht uns stark und heute habt ihr alle Amerikaner sehr stolz gemacht, die auf der ganzen Welt zugeschaut haben. Jedes andere Land feiert seinen Sieg und jetzt ist es Zeit, dass auch wir einen Feiertag erheben zu euren Ehren. Ich habe diese Parade angesehen und unsere Herzen sind voller Dankbarkeit zu all diesen Soldaten, die bis zum Anfang hier bei uns gewesen sind. In unserem ganzen Land, in der Hauptstadt unserer Stadt, 6 Ehrenmedaillengewinner sind heute hier. Wir lieben euch, wir danken euch, was ihr für unser Land und unsere Flagge getan habt. Während wir heute zelebrieren, denken wir auch an die Hunderttausenden Soldaten, die das höchste Opfer gegeben haben. Sie haben ihr Leben geopfert, sie haben es dargegeben. Die Goldstar-Familien sind heute bei uns. Der Mut eurer Helden ist der Felsen unserer Nation, auf dem wir unsere Freiheit aufgebaut haben, unsere Demokratie aufgebaut haben. Und heute erinnern wir uns an etwas, das die Geschichte der Vereinigten Staaten verändert hat. Nicht nur die Geschichte der Vereinigten Staaten, sondern auch die Geschichte der Welt. Am 14. Juni 1774 haben wir im Auftrag des Friedens die ersten Patrioten unserer Armee gesehen. Sie haben gegen die Feinde gekämpft, gegen sie unmögliche Chancen hatten. Sie hatten keine Chance gegen sie, gegen die Übermacht des Feindes. Ein sehr wichtiger Mann, der General George Washington. Sein Motto war Gewinnen, siegen oder den Tod. Es gab keine andere Möglichkeit. Er hat eine blutige Faust gehabt, Frostbeulen an seinen Füßen und er ist über die Wälder, über die Berge, über die Strände. Die US-Armee hat sich gegen Imperien gewehrt. Es hat unter der Gefahr des Feindes nichts gescheut. Sie sind nie zurückgezogen. Es ist Zeit, dass die Feinde Amerikas gelernt haben. Unsere Soldaten kommen und sie jagen euch, wenn ihr uns Böses wollt. Und ihr werdet verlieren, wenn ihr es wagt, gegen uns anzutreten. Unsere Soldaten geben nie auf, sie kapitulieren nicht, sie kämpfen und sie gewinnen. Und darum, keine Institution in der Geschichte hat mehr Helden, mehr Kriegshelden auf einer Liste als die amerikanische Armee. Niemand auf dieser Welt kann das vorweisen. George Washington, der in einer herausfordernden Nacht unter unmöglichen Bedingungen sich gewagt hat, den Feind entgegenzutreten. War der General des Bürgerkrieges, General Cross, der während eines Kampfes auf dem Schlachtfeld ins Gesicht getroffen wurde und der trotzdem mit Entschlossenheit weitergekämpft hat für sich und seine Soldaten. Im Zweiten Weltkrieg gab es die Schlacht in Belgien, in Bulge. Das ist der Kampfesgeist der US-Armee. Und es hat sich nicht verändert und es wird sich niemals verändern. Es gibt keine Kraft auf dieser Welt als die mutigen Herzen der Infanterie, der Ranger, der Green Berets, der Panzertruppen, vom Bunker Hill bis Sedgwick Hill, von Gettysburg bis Guadalcanal, von Yorktown bis Shiloh und von den Schützengräben bis in die Bergen von Afghanistan haben sie ihren Mut gezeigt, sie haben sich geopfert, sie haben sich in einer Glorie dem Feind entgegengestellt. Und den Stränden von Sizilien, die Normandie, die Philippinen, in Da Nang, in Bagdad, in Fallujah. Dank ihrer Hingabe sind wir 250 Jahre später hier. Amerika steht gerade stolz und frei. Wir sind das heißeste Land auf der Welt. Unser Land wird bald noch größer und stärker sein als je zuvor. In der Geschichte haben wir den Segen mit uns getragen, der Patrioten, Legenden und Helden. Mit absoluter Standhaftigkeit sind wir heute hier. Wenn immer wir gerufen werden, wenn immer die Gefahr dort ist, der amerikanische Soldat wird da sein, er wird bereitstehen. Egal wie hoch das Risiko ist, die Hürden, unsere Kriegshelden sind jederzeit bereit, in den Kampf zu ziehen und sie werden die Krone des Sieges erobern. Und wir haben den Segen des mächtigen Gottes an unserer Seite. Herzlichen Glückwunsch an alle. Wir lieben unser Land. Es ging uns nie besser. Gott möge euch beschützen. Gott möge die Armee beschützen, Amerika beschützen. Und ich möchte euch jetzt bitten, unsere First Lady, ich möchte, dass sie mit mir aufs Podium kommt. Herr Präsident, im Auftrag der Vereinigten Staaten und der Armee möchte ich in diese Flagge übergehen, die über die Hauptstadt der Vereinigten Staaten geflogen wurde.
just my children and my wife. Thank my lucky stars to be living here today, 'cause our flag still stands for freedom, and they can't take that away. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. Happy birthday, Mr. President. The lakes of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee, across the plains of Texas, from sea to shining sea, Detroit to Houston, and New York to LA. There's pride in every American heart, and it's time we stand and say, there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. Light up your cell phone. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. God bless the United States Army. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, U.S. Army.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Army, for 2 years.
Thank you so much for serving alongside my grandfather and my great-grandfather, for your service, for your country, for your family. And I just want to say thank you from a generation that may not have known your name, but I get to live in the freedom because of it.
I want to thank all the U.S. service members, men and women, and especially the Army for their 250th birthday. Thank you very much.
My grandpa served in the Army in World War II as part of the 82nd Airborne. Thank you, Army, for everything that you do.
My brother Rob and my son Alec both served in the U.S. Army. We thank you for your courage, your sacrifices, and the burdens that you may now carry.
Thank you so much for doing what you do, putting your lives on the line for other men like me to live the life I live.
And I just want to say happy birthday to the U.S. Army, congratulating them on 250 years. I want to give a big shout out to my Uncle Zadien, who served in the Army, and thank you for all you do.
I'm very thankful for the dedication and the hard work of the men and women of the U.S. Army.
Hi, American soldiers. Thank you for all you do. Love you.
Our freedom is not free, and we know that we are free because of you and your efforts.
Thank you to our Army active duty and veterans for protecting our rights and freedoms. It comes at an immeasurable cost.
I'm wishing you the best. Happy birthday, Dawn.
Happy birthday, Army. Thank you to everybody who's serving today and has served in the past.
Love you guys and girls. Thank you so much for everything you do.
A big thank you to the men and women that serve our country and everything you guys do for us.
Thank you, Army, and happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Army.
Happy birthday, Army.
Happy 250th.
When I raised my right hand, I swore an oath to every generation before me. I wear the same branch insignia as the soldiers who crossed the Delaware. Before there was a nation, there was an army.
what division costs.
I serve because unity is worth the fight.
I carry that legacy forward every time I put on this uniform.
Both of my grandfathers served in the Second World War. They answered the challenges of their time, and it is my goal in this uniform to answer and meet the challenges of my time head on.
He ain't heavy, he's my brother. The arms are swinging a cadence count. Sound off. 1, 2. Sound off. 3, 4. Bring on down. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, bring on.
There's a strength in these bonds. There's a realness to these bonds. It's not just because this is your team, it's because your life depends on these people.
I'm a warrior and a member of the team.
I serve the people of the United States and live the Army values.
I will never accept defeat.
I will never quit.
Trained and proficient in my warrior task and drill.
I am an expert and I am a professional.
Enemies of the United States of America in close combat.
I am a guardian of freedom and the American way of life.
I am an American soldier.
I am an American soldier.
I am an American soldier.
outside guarding the tomb of the unknown soldier. It is one of the most honorable jobs I think that I could have had in the military. I think about those soldiers who made the ultimate sacrifice.
Oh, beautiful for heroes proved in liberating strife. Who more than self their country loved, and mercy more than love. And I will always do my duty, no matter what the price. Hey, I've counted up the cost, I know the sacrifice. Oh, and I don't want to die for you, but if dying's asking me, I'll bear that cross with honor. Hey, freedom don't come free. I'm an American soldier, an American. Beside my brothers and my sisters, I will proudly take a stand. With liberties in jeopardy, I will always do what's right. Man, I'm out here on your front line. Sleep in peace tonight. American soldier, I'm an
It was a humbling experience putting on this uniform. I believe this uniform is a symbol of trust, and it represents the highest ideals of our country.
Through the night with a light from above.
Thank you for joining us on this historic occasion. A special thanks to Scott's Miracle Grow and all of the terrific America 250 sponsors that helped make this monumental event happen. And to you here in our audience or watching at home, to those in our U.S. military who are currently serving, have served, or being remembered, thank you for celebrating in the greatest country in the world. God bless you and God bless America. Good night.
So, meine Lieben, das war's für heute. Vielen Dank, dass ihr da gewesen seid. Wir melden uns in Kürze wieder bei euch. Wir bedanken uns und ja, empfehlt uns weiter. TranslatedPress wird euch weiterhin berichten über alles, was in Amerika abgeht, ganz besonders, was mit Donald Trump passiert. Schönes Wochenende, schönen Sonntag. Ciao, ciao.